Hey there, YouTubers. So, this is kind of a philosophy channel, in case you're wondering, and I rope in Bucky Fuller a lot, and a lot of people don't consider him these days in 2019, September, to be that much of a philosopher. He's kind of a wacky architect, or according to Crackpot magazine Wired, he was kind of a ditz. Anyway, I think I've been bashing Sophia here. Sophia is just this Barbie doll that can say some clever stuff based on the script, and there's no point taking her seriously as AI. But some people do. Now, I subscribe to the Penn and Teller philosophy. This is the magician duo, illusionist, Penn and Teller, and they have the view that it's okay to fool people. It's okay to fool all the people some of the time, even as long as they know they're being fooled. In which case, you're not really fooling them because they know they're being fooled. But you go to a magic show, you go watch these illusionists knowing that they're tricking you. And so when you walk out, your reality has not been changed. They haven't used illusions to shape your reality because you know it's just tricks. And if Sophia is understood in that regard as a clever illusion, we know it's fake, we know it's phony, then pretty harmless, right? And that's what I got back in my comments when I said, it's kind of like maybe borderline unethical what they do with her, like make her Sophia, Saudi citizen, all that kind of stuff. That's kind of it's kind of insulting to Saudis. Like they don't understand the world at all, then, if that's what they think. But I think, it's more just going along with the show. And, as Tori Lund pointed out, the Hansen group responsible for Sophia started out as an art project. And it's still an art project, right? It's just what people imagine AI might be. Kind of like the movie Ex Machina, which I said I liked a lot, which I do. Now, this, I would say, jumping topics a bit, is a worthwhile YouTube if you're into Wittgenstein or want to get into him. This is Ray Monk in 2015 in Austria. He's like one of the great interpreters and commentators on Wittgenstein, and he talks here a lot about the Tractatus. We're not supposed to say Tractatus, it's the Tractatus. Is that right? Maybe it's unsayable. Anyway, he does a good job, and he's in Vienna, which is where Wittgenstein's from. And I bring Wittgenstein in a lot because I'm interested in the philosophy of language, which includes like driving a car and going to the casino and stuff like that. Now, another dot to connect is Wayne Roberts here. So when I started getting into these um, math memes in the Bucky Fuller world, he shows us that you can multiply 4 times 8 in this way. You can do up the side 4, up the other side 8, close the lid, and that total area there is 32. In terms of what? In terms of individual triangular units. What Wayne Roberts calls those ETUs, or equilateral triangular units. And he's got this whole website where he figures all this out. And I didn't know about this website until quite a bit later. And he's like a watercolor painter. He's not a professional mathematician. And you might say, well, anyone could figure this out. It's really pretty trivial. It really doesn't require uh, any really higher math or anything very special to figure this out. And I think that's, legitimate to say that it's true in almost a trivial sense. It's like, duh, kind of true. But does that mean we shouldn't teach it? And going on to the three-dimensional case, we could call it, if you start with an angle that looks like the corner of a tetrahedron, and you branch out from there with 3 edges of any length, and then do what we call closing the lid, what's the volume there in terms of those unit tetrahedrons? And again, it's simply those three edges multiplied together. 2 times 2 times 5 in this case. 4 times 5 is 20. So this would be a volume of 20. So the reason I bring all this up, this is what Bucky Fuller thought was pretty important, even if it's trivially true, and wanted to share this with kids. Like when they came out with this recent discovery that these three numbers to the third power added up to 42, they always say in every article those three numbers cubed, right? But if you just see that they're to the third power, why don't you just as well think of those as three tetrahedrons, right? Adding two and subtracting one of them, and that gives you a tetravolume, we say, of 42. And I think it's kind of a Wittgensteinian thing that you would see it in that light. In other words, that you could take existing math facts, multiplication, and without disputing any of the products, like we know that the numbers are right, you can still, there's room to change the shape that you use when you're multiplying. Instead of saying squaring, you could say triangling. Instead of saying to the third power, you could say, well, you could still say to the third power, but not think of a cube. You could think of a tetrahedron and so on. So that's the kind of thing I think earns Fuller a place in the gallery of philosophers. And along those lines, just to conclude, I've hooked up with another philosopher in terms of becoming a fan on his Facebook page, where I'm saying, one reason that I want to, actually, I haven't become friends with Peter yet. Maybe I'll add him as a friend. Let's see. But his fan club is what I've joined here, a group of 2.5 thousand people. And there I have a link to this lattice gallery that we're opening here in Portland. And there's my Zoltar. And here we are talking about Peter's writings. One of the features of Peter's writings that attracts my attention is he's done some homework regarding our Buckminster Fuller, to my mind, one of the most important yet neglected American philosophers. So you can see how I'm trying in these videos, if you go back and look at a few of them, I'm trying to weave the Bucky stuff into the generic discourse that goes on in philosophy around, philosophy of mind, all these kind of things, right, that have been topics for a while. AI, what is artificial intelligence? Is Sophia a specimen? No. She's pure science fiction. I say she because I'm learning to respect whatever pronouns people want, and the makers of Sophia want us to say she, but that's fine. Barbie dolls are she's, right? Teddy bears are she's or he's, depends. It's okay to have gender pronouns with dolls. I'm not saying that's any problem, really. Okay, so I'm kind of just connecting the dots for you there, and I'm not going to bash Sophia so much anymore because I know she's just an art project, and if you use her or it to scare people about AI, you're kind of full of it, really, because there's nothing scary there. Sophia is not scary. I appreciate the humor. All right, talk to you soon.